Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Okay, so this time round I decided I was going to build and paint something completely different to what you've seen before. Something that's not actually Star Wars related for once. Thundercats. I found this on, I think it was CGT Trader. I'll put the link in the description. And this was completely free download, which is fantastic. And it's off Slithe from Thundercats. Now, I've printed this. I actually hollowed it out, so to save on resin. I also hollowed out the base, and it's come out really nice. I think it's a fantastic sculpt. I mean, it really does look like him from the cartoon. I'm looking forward to painting this, and yeah, I think it should be a fairly straightforward paint up, really. So I'll spend a bit of time cleaning it up. I mean, it came out pretty nicely. Obviously you have to sort of sand away any contact points where the supports were and tidy it up, but it's looking pretty good, I think. The base, it comes in just in these two pieces, and then obviously it clicks in to the base below. So it's decent size as well, actually. I mean, it's not huge, but you know, I think that's going to look quite nice when it's on a shelf. Okay, so the first thing to do then is to primer this guy. I think I'm going to go all black on the base, and I'm going to primer Slithe with a light grey, which will help then put in those greens. Okay, so that's the primer coats put on. Now what I have noticed after putting on that grey primer is that a few imperfections in a couple of layer lines. You can see it's kind of here around the jewel, and a little bit here on the eyebrows and on the nose here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some sandpaper and just sand that out. Now I printed this on a very light coloured resin. I used beige resin. And I actually prefer using light colour resins because I find I get better results than using darker colours. But the flip side of that is it's not always easy to see the imperfections because the colour is so light. But as I say, you put the primer on, you pick up these things, you've got time to sand it back down, and then just put another little bit of primer over the top again, and it'll all be good. So starting with the base, I'm just going to start applying some red to the front of the letters. And after 3 very thin coats, that's what I'm left with. And that I'm just going to call done, I think. Simplest base effect ever. I'm going to spray it with a clear coat of satin, and then I'm going to cover this holes on the bottom here with a piece of felt. And here it is after that clear coat of satin and that nice felt bottom on there, just to smooth that out. Okay, I'll set that aside and onto the main model. Okay, so let's get some paint slapped on this model. So I'm going to start with a dark green wire flesh in this case, and I'm just going to go around the darker areas on him. So with that green applied, I'm now going to do a darker green, in this case Lupercal green, and I'm going to do it on the horns and on those spots that he's got around him. Okay, so after that darker green with the spots, that's how we're looking. So the next green I'm going to do is, it's very light green around sort of these patches. I've had to mix one up myself, so I've just taken some Death Guard green and added some white to it to try and get it as kind of light and almost like a mint colour. So I'm just going to go around the rest of the model and finish off with this. Next up is his headband, and I've just mixed some brown and some orange together so you get a orangey brown. Now a mix of a dark and a light brown just to go around the edge here. Now some Corax white over the teeth. Then it's just a mix of that white and that yellow used previously, and I'm just going to use that to block in the eyes. Mephiston red for the jewel on the headgear. And now a very steady hand needed to block in the eyeballs. And next I'm just going to do a little dab of white on the jewel here, just to give the impression of a slight reflection. So that's all of the front now finished. So the last thing to do is paint the back of the model, and I'm just going to go for an all over coat of black. And after 2 coats, that's the back done. So I'm got a bit of conundrum now, because this is normally the stage after all those base coats are applied. I would then start throwing down washes, I would then do the dry brushing, highlighting, all that type of thing. But here's the thing, this is a very cartoony look, and I want to retain that, so I don't want to go in and start doing realistic highlights and whatnot, because for me I think that's going to take it away. So I think less is more here. So I think what I'm going to do is do a brown wash over the headpiece, and I think I'm going to probably highlight the edges, but that's going to be it for washes. I don't think I'm going to throw anything anywhere else. But what I will do, again to retain that cartoony look, is I'm going to use a black wash to pick out the lines and the creases around the model. And I think that, again, that will, I'm hoping it'll look a bit like a cartoon drawn kind of image where you've got black lines separating out those parts. And I think once I've done that, I think that's going to be it. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, brown, probably Agrax Earthshade over the headpiece to start with. Okay, and I think with that, I'm going to call it done. So as you see, I don't know if I explained that very well, what I was on about with the black lining, but I think it's come out okay. I think it's done the effect I wanted to. It looks a bit more cartoony. I think that edge around the headdress helps make that pop a little bit. And yeah, I mean, as I said, I could go on, I could do more highlighting and dry brushing and whatnot, but I just think it'll take away from the look that I want it to have. So yeah, I think I'm going to call that done. So pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is spray it with a coat of varnish, and I'm just going to go with straightforward matte varnish on this one. And so here we are with the final reveal of them all put together. And I think he's come out pretty nicely. Just spin him around. Yeah, really happy with that. As I say, nice little model, quite quick to sort of put together and paint and everything. And I say this file is actually downloadable for free at the moment, so go check out the link for that. What I also did is actually, because I got a bit carried away with this chap, I ended up printing off the rest of the gang. So Monkey Inn is actually also free to download. The other two, I think they were like $2 or $3 each, hardly anything at all, so really cheap. So yeah, I'm going to have good fun, I think, now going in and painting the rest of them, and I think, you know, as a final set, they're going to look really nice together. Okay, well I think that's just about it. So go and check out the artist's work. They've got tons of sort of Thundercat models and other bits and pieces. And I will see you in the next one.